Premise: if angles are linear pair, then they are supplementary angles. Minor premise: if the angles are supplementary, then the sum of the angles is 180 degrees. Conclusion: if angles are linear pair, then the sum of the angles is 180 degrees.
That's all for today. I hope you learned a lot from our discussion. Once again, my name is Ma'am Veronica Joyce M. Orlanes, your grade 8 mathematics teacher. Thank you and happy learning.